a star was born. In the heart of Lahore, amidst the vibrant chaos of a bustling city, a star was born. On October 5, 1952, Imran Ahmed Khan Niazi entered the world, destined to become a beacon of hope, integrity, and change for an entire nation. His roots were steeped in tradition and nobility, yet his spirit was restless, yearning to break the chains of conventionality and mediocrity. Imran's early years were shaped by the values of his family, the Niazi's proud Pashtuns known for their service and leadership. His father, Imran Khan Niazi, a civil engineer, and his mother, Shaukat Khanum, instilled in him a deep sense of duty and compassion. It was at Aitchison College, one of Pakistan's most prestigious institutions, that young Imran's brilliance first began to shine. At 16, Imran crossed the seas to the United Kingdom, where his cricketing talents began to emerge. But it wasn't just cricket that defined him. His time at Oxford, where he studied philosophy, politics, and economics, honed his intellectual prowess and developed the leadership qualities that would later shape a nation. In 1971, at just 18 years old, Imran Khan made his debut for Pakistan in a test match against England. It was the beginning of a legendary career. A fast bowler known for his fearsome speed and unyielding determination, Imran soon became a world-class all-rounder, inspiring generations with his dedication and passion for the game. But it wasn't just his physical prowess that set him apart. It was his commitment to excellence, his relentless drive to push beyond the limits, and his visionary approach to the game. Over the years, Khan became a world-class all-rounder, celebrated not only for his lethal bowling, but also for his solid, dependable batting. His commitment to fitness and training set new standards in Pakistani cricket, inspiring a generation of players to follow in his footsteps. He was not merely playing the game, he was redefining it, setting benchmarks that would shape the future of cricket in Pakistan. In 1982, Imran Khan was appointed captain of the Pakistan cricket team, a role he approached with the seriousness of a mission. He was not content with simply leading. He sought to transform the team into a world-class unit, one built on merit rather than regional bias. Under his leadership, Pakistan achieved unprecedented success, becoming a formidable force in international cricket. Khan's captaincy was defined by his ability to inspire his team, to instill discipline, and to foster a winning mentality. He was a captain who led by example, whose strategic acumen often turned the tide of matches. His bold decisions, his fearless leadership, and his deep understanding of the game made him a legend in the cricketing world. He was not just playing to win, he was playing to change the narrative, to show the world what Pakistan was capable of. Imran Khan's leadership in the 1987 series against India is often regarded as a defining moment in his cricketing career and a significant chapter in Pakistan's cricket history. The series was played in India, a venue where Pakistan had traditionally struggled, adding to the pressure on Khan and his team. Imran Khan, known for his strategic acumen and unyielding spirit, approached the series with a clear vision: to break Pakistan's losing streak against India and assert their dominance on Indian soil. The series was not just about cricket, it was about national pride, and the rivalry between the two nations made the stakes incredibly high. Imran's leadership during the series was characterized by his ability to inspire and unite the team. He instilled confidence in his players, many of whom were young and relatively inexperienced compared to their Indian counterparts. Imran emphasized discipline, focus, and resilience, knowing that the mental aspect of the game would be crucial in such a high-pressure environment. The turning point of the series came in the second test match, where Pakistan faced a formidable Indian side in Bangalore. Imran's tactical decisions were spot on, particularly his use of reverse swing, a technique that Pakistan had mastered under his guidance. His bowling was nothing short of exceptional, as he led from the front, taking crucial wickets at key moments and putting the Indian batting lineup under immense pressure. One of Imran's most significant contributions during the series was his ability to extract the best performance from his teammates. Players like Wasim Akram and Abdul Qadir, who would go on to become legends in their own right, delivered match-winning performances under Imran's mentorship. His belief in their abilities and his strategic field placements were instrumental in Pakistan's success. The victory in the series was a historic breakthrough for Pakistan cricket. It was the first time Pakistan had won a test series in India, ending years of frustration and near misses. Imran Khan's role in this achievement was widely praised, not just for his on-field heroics, but for the way he molded a team capable of overcoming the odds. This series victory is often seen as a testament to Imran Khan's leadership qualities. He demonstrated that with the right mindset, strategy, and unity, even the most daunting challenges could be overcome. The win was not only a personal milestone for Imran, but also a moment of immense pride for Pakistan, solidifying his status as one of the greatest captains in cricket history. But it was not until 1992 that Imran Khan etched his name into the annals of history, leading Pakistan to its first ever Cricket World Cup victory. It was more than just a sporting triumph. It was a moment of national pride that united a fractured nation. Imran's never-give-up attitude and his ability to inspire his team to overcome insurmountable odds made him a hero in the eyes of millions. Imran Khan retired from cricket in 1992, closing a remarkable chapter in the sport's history and leaving behind a legacy that transcended mere statistics and records. His departure from the game was not just the end of a glorious career, but the beginning of a legend that would inspire millions of Pakistanis across various walks of life. Imran had evolved into much more than a cricketer. He had become a national icon, embodying the ideals of hope, perseverance, and unyielding excellence. Throughout his career, Imran's leadership on the field was characterized by his unwavering commitment to meritocracy. Under his captaincy, the Pakistan cricket team underwent a transformation that was not solely about winning matches or securing titles. It was about fostering a culture where talent and performance were the ultimate criteria for selection. Imran challenged the prevailing norms in Pakistan cricket, where favoritism and connections often influenced decisions. Instead, he insisted that players be chosen based on their abilities and contributions to the team, regardless of their background or social standing. This approach had a profound impact on the team and on Pakistan cricket as a whole. It instilled a sense of professionalism and discipline that had previously been lacking, setting new benchmarks for future generations. Imran's emphasis on merit created an environment where players were encouraged to strive for excellence, knowing that their hard work and dedication would be recognized and rewarded. Imran Khan's leadership extended beyond the cricket field. He inspired a nation to dream big, to believe that with determination and resilience, even the most daunting challenges could be overcome. His legacy as a cricketer was not just in the records he set or the matches he won, but in the values he championed. Values that would continue to influence and inspire long after he had hung up his boots. In many ways, Imran's journey in cricket was a precursor to his later endeavors in politics and philanthropy. The principles of integrity, merit, and service to the nation that he espoused as a cricketer would become the foundation of his broader vision for Pakistan. His retirement from cricket marked the end of one chapter, but also the beginning of a new one, where his influence would extend far beyond the boundaries of a cricket field, shaping the future of an entire nation. Imran Khan's journey from the cricket pitch to becoming a national hero truly took flight, when he undertook the monumental task of establishing Pakistan's first and only comprehensive cancer treatment center. The catalyst for this transformation was deeply personal: his beloved mother, Shaukat Khanum's agonizing battle against cancer. Witnessing her pain and suffering firsthand, Khan was moved to action. This profound personal loss became the driving force behind his vision to bring world-class cancer treatment facilities to Pakistan, a country that, at the time, lacked even the most basic resources for cancer care. With a bold and compassionate vision, Khan embarked on an ambitious project to build the Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital and Research Center in Lahore. The hospital, named in honor of his mother, was not just a medical facility. It was a symbol of hope and a testament to Khan's unwavering commitment to giving back to his country. The hospital officially opened its doors in December 1994, standing as a monument to his relentless dedication and his determination to ensure that no Pakistani, regardless of their financial situation, would be deprived of proper cancer treatment. This pioneering initiative redefined healthcare in Pakistan, setting new standards for what was possible in the realm of medical care in the country. Despite the numerous doubts and challenges that came his way, Imran Khan's charisma, integrity, and unwavering pursuit of his cause resonated with millions across Pakistan. His nationwide fundraising campaign was nothing short of extraordinary, uniting people from all walks of life in a cause that transcended politics, class, and social divides. Leveraging his cricket fame and the immense respect he commanded both nationally and internationally, Khan was able to raise the substantial funds needed to bring his vision to life. The success of the hospital and its subsequent expansions in Peshawar and Karachi were not just medical achievements, they were proof of Khan's extraordinary ability to achieve the impossible. The Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital became more than just a medical institution. It became a symbol of hope and resilience for a nation yearning for leaders who could deliver on their promises. Under Imran Khan's visionary leadership, the hospital has not only provided world-class cancer treatment, but has also become a beacon of medical excellence in the region. It stands as a shining example of what can be achieved when one man's determination is met with the collective support of a nation. Through his tireless efforts, Imran Khan has saved countless lives and given hope to millions. His legacy in healthcare has proven that true leadership is not about power or prestige, but about service, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to a greater cause. Khan's journey from the cricket field to a champion for the sick and vulnerable is a story of how one man's vision can change the course of a nation. His work with the Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital continues to inspire, reminding us all that with courage, integrity, and the will to serve, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. In 1996, recognizing the deep-rooted corruption in Pakistan's political system and the genuine absence of justice, Imran Khan once again stepped into uncharted territory, this time by founding the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI. PTI was not just a political party, it was a movement born out of a profound desire to restore the nation's dignity, justice, and equality, principles that had been repeatedly betrayed by its leaders. Khan's vision was clear: to create a Pakistan where merit replaced nepotism, where the rule of law was sacred, and where the government served the people, not the other way around. His entry into politics was not for personal gain, but was driven by a deep love for his country and an unwavering determination to save it from the clutches of corruption and misrule. Imran Khan's early years in politics were marked by an uphill battle. The entrenched political elite, accustomed to their unchecked power and privilege, viewed PTI as an existential threat to their dominance. Despite being ridiculed and dismissed as a political novice, Khan's resolve never wavered. The 1997 general elections were a harsh reality check for PTI, as the party failed to secure any significant seats. However, true to his nature, Khan did not view this setback as a defeat, but as a lesson and an opportunity to strengthen his resolve. Over the next decade, he devoted himself tirelessly to building PTI from the ground up. He traveled across the country, connecting with the common people, listening to their grievances, and raising his voice against the myriad injustices perpetrated by the ruling class. His message was consistent and clear. Pakistan needed a revolution of values, one that would place justice and accountability at the heart of governance. The 2002 general elections marked the beginning of PTI's rise on the political landscape. Khan's success in winning a seat in the National Assembly from his hometown of Miawali was a small but significant step in his long struggle to transform Pakistan's political system. This victory, although modest, was a clear sign that the public was beginning to see Khan not just as a former cricket star, but as a serious and committed leader determined to change the status quo. His presence in the National Assembly provided him with a platform to advocate for the causes he believed in, including the fight against corruption, the need for judicial independence, and the imperative of economic reform. Throughout the 2000s, Imran Khan remained a steadfast voice for the people, fearlessly challenging the powerful and speaking out against corruption and mismanagement. His unwavering stance against military dictatorship, particularly during General Pervez Musharraf's regime, earned him respect as one of the few politicians willing to confront the military establishment. His outspoken criticism of American drone strikes in Pakistan's tribal areas and his opposition to the war on terror resonated deeply with many Pakistanis, who felt that their country was being used as a pawn in a larger geopolitical game. This principled stand won him a loyal following, especially among the youth, who saw in him a leader who genuinely cared about Pakistan's future and was willing to fight for it. Despite the formidable challenges, Khan's message of hope, justice, and accountability began to resonate more broadly across the country. He became a symbol of resistance against the entrenched political and military elites, and his tireless efforts laid the foundation for PTI to emerge as a formidable political force in the years to come. By the end of the decade, it was clear that Imran Khan and PTI were no longer on the fringes of Pakistani politics. They were at the forefront of a growing movement for change, one that would eventually transform the political landscape of the country. The year 2013 was not just another election year for Pakistan. It was a pivotal moment that would redefine the nation's political trajectory. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI, under the visionary leadership of Imran Khan, emerged as a formidable force, capturing the nation's imagination and challenging the entrenched political status quo. As the second-largest party by popular vote, PTI's rise signaled a seismic shift in Pakistan's political landscape, reflecting the deep yearning of the people for change and accountability. Imran Khan's relentless battle against electoral fraud became a rallying cry for millions. His unwavering demand for electoral reforms resonated with a nation long disillusioned by corrupt practices and unfulfilled promises. In every speech and public appearance, Khan's courage and determination shone through, establishing him as the true leader of the opposition, a figure who would not rest until justice was served, no matter the obstacles. Following the 2013 elections, PTI's influence extended beyond mere political rhetoric. It began to take tangible form, particularly in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KPK, where the party formed the provincial government. Under Imran Khan's astute leadership, PTI embarked on an ambitious journey to transform KPK, implementing groundbreaking reforms in education, healthcare, and anti-corruption. These initiatives set a new benchmark for governance in Pakistan, proving that change was not only possible, but inevitable with honest leadership. Khan's vision for a new Pakistan started to materialize through PTI's progressive policies in KPK. The reforms were not just political moves, they were a manifestation of Khan's deep-rooted commitment to social justice and his desire to uplift the common man. His anti-corruption stance and insistence on accountability resonated profoundly with a public weary of decades of mismanagement and exploitation by the political elite. The winds of change were palpable, and KPK became the proving ground for Khan's dream of a just and prosperous Pakistan. The Industrial Park Vision, IPV, was once presented by the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, PMLN, as a shining beacon of progress and development. Touted as a transformative initiative, the project aimed to boost Pakistan's industrial sector, create jobs, and modernize the economy. However, beneath the glossy exterior, IPV became a symbol of PMLN's entrenched corruption, cronyism, and economic exploitation. Instead of uplifting the nation, the project served as a vehicle for the enrichment of a select few, leaving ordinary Pakistanis to bear the brunt of the government's failed policies. The PMLN regime portrayed itself as the party of development, boasting about major infrastructure projects and industrial policies. But their version of development was anything but genuine. The IPV project, originally intended to foster industrial growth, was soon marred by allegations of corruption, nepotism, and favoritism. While it was publicly promoted as a project for the people, in reality, It was designed to benefit PMLN's inner circle of loyalists and political cronies. Massive funds were diverted to benefit PMLN supporters, and contracts were awarded to those with close ties to the Sharif family. The industrial parks, instead of fostering entrepreneurship and industrial growth for the nation, became personal playgrounds for the wealthy elite associated with PMLN. The promised jobs and economic growth never materialized for ordinary Pakistanis. The dark side of the IPV project. As with many of PMLN's so-called development projects, the IPV project quickly descended into a web of scandal. From the outset, PMLN's leadership used the project to reward loyalists, individuals who had supported the party financially or politically. In some cases, businesses that were not qualified or equipped to handle industrial development were given lucrative contracts simply due to their political connections. The beneficiaries of the project were not the hard-working citizens of Pakistan, but the same wealthy elite who have always profited under PMLN rule. The industrial parks became hubs of corruption, where the PMLN leadership funneled money into their own pockets while leaving the country to deal with the aftermath of their mismanagement. A nation betrayed. The IPV project, like many of PMLN's economic ventures, became a testament to their incompetence and disregard for the well-being of ordinary Pakistanis. Under the guise of industrial development, the Sharif family and their allies siphoned public funds, driving Pakistan deeper into debt and exacerbating the nation's already dire economic conditions. Inflation skyrocketed as funds meant for public welfare and development were misappropriated. Unemployment continued to climb, as the promised jobs never materialized due to the project's failure. Pakistan's industrial sector remained stagnant, crippled by mismanagement and corruption. While the PMLN leadership flaunted the IPV project as a major achievement, the reality on the ground told a different story. Factories that never opened, industrial parks that lay abandoned, and a disillusioned public left to suffer from the economic decay brought about by their corrupt leadership. In stark contrast to PMLN's economic policies, Imran Khan and the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf (PTI) offered a vision of transparency, accountability, and justice. Khan's dream of a new Pakistan was rooted in his unwavering commitment to uplifting the common man, not enriching the political elite. When PTI came into power in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa (KPK), it became the testing ground for Khan's reforms. Unlike the PMLN, PTI's policies focused on eliminating corruption through strict accountability measures, encouraging transparency in awarding contracts and public works, empowering local businesses and entrepreneurs, ensuring that industrial growth benefited the common man, not a select few. Key success of PTI's reforms in KPK stood as a testament to what Pakistan could achieve under honest leadership. Where PMLN had failed, PTI succeeded, proving that with genuine commitment to the people, real progress was possible. PMLN's legacy of economic exploitation. The IPV project remains a symbol of PMLN's failed economic policies. It is a reminder that under PMLN, Pakistan's economy was not designed to serve the public, but rather to enrich the powerful. PMLN's legacy is one of broken promises, economic decay, and a nation left reeling from years of corruption and mismanagement. While the industrial parks may have stood as physical structures, they were hollow symbols, empty of the prosperity they were meant to bring. The economic growth that PMLN promised never materialized, leaving Pakistan's economy in a far worse condition than when they took power. Pakistan needs honest leadership that puts the people first, not corrupt politicians who use public projects to line their own pockets. The IPV project is just one example of how PMLN betrayed the trust of the nation, using development projects as a front for corruption and cronyism. Under Imran Khan's leadership, Pakistan has the opportunity to break free from the shackles of corruption that have long held the nation back. Khan's vision for a new Pakistan, a Pakistan built on justice, transparency, and equality, offers hope for a future where the wealth of the nation is used to uplift its citizens, not enrich a select few. The revelation of the Panama Papers further exposed the depths of corruption within PMLN's leadership, particularly focusing on Nawaz Sharif and his family. The leaked documents unveiled their offshore accounts and assets hidden abroad, underscoring the disconnect between the leadership's public promises and their private wealth accumulation. The Panama Papers marked a turning point, igniting public outrage and intensifying demands for accountability. It became clear that while the nation suffered from inflation, unemployment, and industrial stagnation, the country's rulers were more focused on protecting their wealth than on serving the people. The Panama Papers leak in 2016 was a historic turning point in Pakistani politics, and Imran Khan embraced it with his characteristic resolve. As a leader who had always stood against corruption, Khan decided to lead the campaign demanding the resignation and accountability of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Despite political pressure, Khan's relentless efforts eventually led to Nawaz Sharif's disqualification by the Supreme Court in 2017. This victory was not just a personal achievement for Khan, but a validation of his long-held belief that justice must. This victory was not just a personal achievement for Khan, but a validation of his long-held belief that justice must prevail, regardless of the circumstances. In the 2018 general elections, Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI, emerged as the largest party in the National Assembly, reflecting the public's support for his vision of a new Pakistan. However, despite this clear mandate, PTI was unable to secure a complete majority in parliament. Many believe this shortfall was no mere coincidence, but the result of a deliberate effort by rival political forces and certain elements within the establishment to weaken Khan's electoral success. These efforts manifested in alleged tampering with the electoral process, which prevented PTI from securing the majority it was entitled to. As a result, Khan had to form a coalition government, which demonstrated his political acumen and willingness to cooperate, but it also meant that his government was more susceptible to external pressures and less able to fully implement its reform agenda. Despite these challenges, Imran Khan's swearing in as Pakistan's 22nd Prime Minister on August 18, 2018, marked the beginning of a new era. It was a testament to his perseverance and his unwavering commitment to justice, equality, and true democracy in Pakistan, despite attempts to undermine his rightful victory. Imran Khan's rise was not without challenges. His New Pakistan campaign resonated with the public, who had grown disillusioned with the deep-seated corruption and mismanagement of previous governments. His vision centered around justice, welfare, and economic self-reliance, promising a break from the past. However, his determination to root out corruption and challenge the status quo made him many enemies within the political elite and military establishment. As Khan assumed office, rumors of conspiracies to remove him began to circulate. His insistence on transparency, accountability, and economic reforms was threatening the interests of powerful figures who had long benefited from the system's flaws. As Khan began to implement his vision, the opposition, which included seasoned politicians with deep ties to the military and judiciary, began to unite. The first signs of trouble emerged when Khan's economic policies, designed to stabilize the economy, faced intense opposition. The media, largely controlled by his political adversaries, spread false stories portraying Khan as an ineffective leader unable to manage the country's affairs. When Imran Khan took office, he inherited a nation facing severe economic challenges, including a balance of payments crisis. His vision for a new Pakistan was based on self-reliance, austerity, and justice. Like the Ehsas program, the Sehat Sahulat program, and the construction of shelters for the homeless were detailed reports. His emphasis on establishing a welfare state, inspired by the principles of the state of Medina, was a cornerstone of his policy. Imran Khan's speech at the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, on September 27, 2019, stands as one of the most significant moments in his political career. During his address, Khan highlighted four critical global issues: climate change, money laundering, Islamophobia, and the Kashmir conflict. His candid and impassioned delivery made a powerful impression, particularly his defense of Islam, and his sharp critique of international systems that perpetuated inequality. His appeal for justice for the people of Kashmir struck a chord, especially among Muslim-majority nations, where his stance was widely applauded. In Pakistan, the speech was celebrated as a defining moment for the country on the global stage. Khan's ability to speak boldly on critical issues like climate action and Islamophobia positioned him as a leader willing to confront global powers. His strong plea for Kashmir, though controversial and met with criticism by India, resonated deeply at home and among Pakistan's allies. The speech reinforced his image as a global advocate for justice and fairness, especially for the Muslim world. Perhaps one of the other defining moments of Imran Khan's tenure as Prime Minister was his remarkable handling of the coronavirus crisis. In early 2020, as the world grappled with the pandemic's devastating impact, Pakistan faced an unprecedented threat to its healthcare system and economy. Khan's leadership during this critical period showcased his ability to navigate through crisis, and his response ultimately positioned Pakistan among the top-ranked countries in pandemic management. His government's approach, which balanced public health measures with economic concerns, earned international recognition and widespread approval at home. Pakistan reported its first case of the coronavirus on February 26, 2020. The government quickly recognized the threat and formed the National Coordination Committee and the National Command and Operations Center, NCOC, to coordinate the national response. The NCOC, led by military and civilian officials, played a crucial role in monitoring real-time data, decision-making, and policy implementation. Pakistan imposed its first lockdown in late March 2020, aligning with other countries. However, recognizing the economic hardships a full lockdown imposed on daily wage earners, Khan's government quickly adopted a smart lockdown strategy. The smart lockdown meant targeted restrictions in coronavirus hotspots, rather than nationwide or province-wide lockdowns. This strategy was informed by data from the NCOC, which monitored the spread of the virus and the effectiveness of interventions. The government focused on establishing new quarantine centers, expanding testing facilities, and ensuring the availability of personal protective equipment for healthcare workers. There was a significant increase in the number of ICU beds, ventilators, and oxygen supply across the country. Pakistan also reached out to international organizations and friendly countries to secure medical supplies and expertise. Although testing capacity was initially limited, it was rapidly expanded. By mid-2020, Pakistan had established numerous testing centers across the country, enabling widespread testing, particularly in affected areas. The government implemented an aggressive test, trace, and quarantine strategy, which involved tracing the contacts of confirmed cases and isolating them to prevent further spread. Imran Khan regularly addressed the nation, emphasizing the seriousness of the pandemic while urging calm. He often stressed the need for a balanced approach that protects both lives and livelihoods. The government launched extensive public awareness campaigns on the importance of social distancing, wearing masks, and personal hygiene. The NCOC made extensive use of media to keep the public informed about daily coronavirus cases, deaths, recoveries, and public guidelines. The government partnered with TV channels, radio, and social media platforms to ensure wide-reaching communication. Recognizing the economic impact of the pandemic, particularly on the poor and vulnerable, the government launched the ASOS Emergency Cash Program in April 2020. This was one of the largest social protection initiatives in Pakistan's history. The program provided PKR 12,000, approximately $75 in cash to families affected by the pandemic. The program was praised for its transparency and efficiency, using a comprehensive database to ensure aid reached the deserving. The government introduced various packages to support small and medium-sized enterprises, including low-interest loans, tax relief, and subsidies to keep businesses afloat during the lockdown. Special incentives were given to the construction sector, a major employer in Pakistan, to boost economic activity. Initially, Pakistan faced challenges in acquiring vaccines due to global supply shortages. However, the government, through diplomatic efforts and international partnerships, secured vaccines from various sources, including China, Sinopharm, Sinovac, AstraZeneca, and later Pfizer. The government prioritized healthcare workers, elderly citizens, and those with underlying health conditions in the early stages. By mid-2021, Pakistan's vaccination drive had picked up pace. The government established mass vaccination centers across the country and introduced a digital vaccination certificate system. The NCOC led the coordination of the vaccination campaign, ensuring that vaccines were distributed effectively across provinces and rural areas. Despite limited resources, Pakistan's pandemic response strategy was praised by international organizations, including the World Health Organization. The smart lockdown strategy, efficient use of resources, and emphasis on balancing health and economic concerns were highlighted as key factors in Pakistan's success. Pakistan managed to keep its coronavirus death rate relatively low, especially compared to other countries with similar economic conditions. The country's economy also showed a faster-than-expected recovery. The World Health Organization recognized Pakistan's efforts, ranking it among the best countries in handling the coronavirus response. Pakistan was particularly commended for its data-driven strategy, targeted interventions, and strong leadership in managing the crisis. By the end of 2021, Pakistan's economy began showing signs of recovery, with GDP growth rates exceeding expectations. The government's focus on maintaining economic activity during the pandemic contributed to this recovery. The ESAS program and other relief measures helped mitigate the worst effects of the pandemic on the most vulnerable segments of society. While the targeted investments in healthcare infrastructure, data systems, and emergency response capabilities made during the pandemic have left Pakistan better prepared for future health crises. Understanding the long-term impacts of Imran Khan's leadership during and after the coronavirus pandemic requires careful consideration of the various strategies and programs his government implemented to stabilize Pakistan's economy and improve healthcare infrastructure. Despite significant challenges, including the global pandemic and internal political opposition, Khan's administration took bold steps that not only navigated Pakistan through the crisis, but also laid the groundwork for future recovery and stability. The ESAS program and other relief measures played a crucial role in protecting the most vulnerable segments of society, while the targeted investments in healthcare infrastructure have left Pakistan better prepared for future health crises. By the end of 2021, the economy showed promising signs of recovery, reflecting the effectiveness of these measures. However, Imran Khan's government also witnessed a period of economic growth and stability, despite conspiracies to weaken the government and ultimately overthrow it. The military's role in Pakistan's politics has long been shrouded in intrigue and controversy, with Imran Khan's tenure as prime minister representing one of the most explosive chapters in this ongoing saga. Throughout his time in office, and particularly after his ousting, rumors and theories swirled around the alleged involvement of military leadership, especially General Qamar Javed Bajwa, in covert operations aimed at destabilizing and ultimately toppling Khan's government. Allegations emerged that General Bajwa had conspired with foreign powers, engaging in secret meetings and crafting strategies designed to undermine Khan's authority. These claims sparked a firestorm of debate, raising pressing questions about the true nature of power in Pakistan and the extent to which the military influences civilian governance and sovereignty. After his dramatic removal from office in April 2022, Khan launched a relentless campaign, driven by his firm belief that his ousting was not a mere political maneuver, but rather a grand conspiracy orchestrated by foreign powers in collusion with Pakistan's military establishment. Khan did not hesitate to point fingers at the United States, accusing them of being the mastermind behind this plot. He argued that his government was toppled because of his fiercely independent foreign policy, which included his controversial visit to Russia during the Ukraine war, and his efforts to reduce Pakistan's dependency on American influence. One of the most sensational aspects of Khan's accusations was his claim that U.S. official Donald Lu played a pivotal role in the conspiracy. By naming names and drawing direct connections, Khan sought to rally the nation around what he portrayed as an existential threat to Pakistan's sovereignty. Khan's protests were characterized by massive public gatherings and highly symbolic marches, with the Hakiki Azadi March, True Freedom March, standing out as a particularly powerful expression of his movement. These rallies were not just about numbers. They were designed to galvanize public support and exert maximum pressure on the government, forcing it to hold early elections. For Khan, these elections represented the only legitimate path to restoring a government that truly reflected the will of the people. One of the most harrowing moments of Khan's post-ousting campaign came on November 3, 2022, during a rally in Wazirabad, when an assassination attempt was made on his life. As Khan led a convoy toward Islamabad, a gunman opened fire, striking Khan in the leg. The chaotic scene that followed did not weaken Khan. Instead, his survival only seemed to bolster his resolve. The image of Khan, wounded but unbowed, addressing his supporters from atop a container truck, became a powerful symbol of his fight against what he termed an illegitimate and corrupt regime. The aftermath of the shooting triggered a whirlwind of accusations. Khan and his party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI, leveled serious charges against high-profile figures. Khan did not hesitate to directly implicate Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Interior Minister Rana Sanallah, and Senior Intelligence Officer General Faisal Nasir, accusing them of plotting his assassination. According to Khan, these individuals were part of a broader conspiracy to eliminate him because they feared the movement he was leading and the threat it posed to the entrenched power structure. Despite PTI's repeated demands for an independent investigation, the government dismissed the allegations, which only fueled public dissatisfaction and intensified Khan's protests. The investigation, or lack thereof, became a focal point in Khan's speeches and rallies. He used the assassination attempt as a rallying cry, arguing that it exemplified the lengths his opponents were willing to go to silence him. For Khan, this controversy symbolized the broader political struggle in Pakistan, a struggle between those who sought to maintain the status quo through any means necessary, and those who, like him, were fighting for a new, independent, and sovereign Pakistan. As the political crisis deepened, the divide between Khan's supporters and the government grew wider, setting the stage for a turbulent future for Pakistan. At the heart of Pakistan's governance issues lies its judiciary, a pillar meant to uphold justice and equality, but long marred by political influence, bribery, and nepotism. For years, the scales of justice have been tipped in favor of the powerful, with high-profile cases revealing the depth of corruption within the system. A prime example is the role the judiciary played in facilitating Nawaz Sharif's controversial return to Pakistan. Despite being convicted on corruption charges, Nawaz Sharif, a figure deeply entrenched in Pakistan's political elite, managed to manipulate the system to his advantage. He left the country under the pretext of seeking medical treatment and later returned with a clean slate. This was not merely a legal maneuver, but a demonstration of the deep-rooted influence some individuals wield over the judicial process, highlighting a system where the law bends to the will of the influential, leaving honest leaders like Imran Khan to face the wrath of an unjust judiciary. Imran Khan, a leader who has tirelessly championed justice and accountability, found himself caught in a web of politically motivated cases. These cases, numbering in the dozens, were more than just legal battles. They were calculated efforts to silence a leader whose vision for a corruption-free Pakistan threatened the foundations of power in the country. Despite immense pressure and the looming threat of imprisonment, Khan refused to back down. His unwavering stance was a testament to his dedication to his cause, a cause that resonated with millions of Pakistanis who saw in him a beacon of hope for a just and equitable society. The relentless persecution of Khan reached a boiling point when a warrant was issued for his arrest on dubious charges. This warrant, a clear manifestation of the state's vendetta against Khan, was a strategic maneuver aimed at removing him from the political arena. His arrest was not a result of justice being served, but rather an act of desperation by those fearful of his growing influence among the masses. On that fateful day, Khan was forcefully arrested from the Islamabad High Court, a place meant to uphold justice but which, on that occasion, became the site of his politically motivated detention. Surrounded by armed forces, Khan was taken into custody under false pretenses, stripped of his dignity in a blatant attempt to break his spirit. But Imran Khan was no ordinary leader. Even in the face of such blatant injustice, he remained resolute. His arrest, far from weakening him, only strengthened his resolve to fight against the corruption and oppression that plagued the nation. Behind bars, Khan continued to be a symbol of hope for millions, refusing to capitulate to the elites who sought to silence him. His unwavering stance became a symbol of resistance against the tyranny of those in power, inspiring a new wave of support from across the country. Khan's refusal to submit to the corrupt powers that be cemented his legacy as a leader who stood tall in the face of adversity. Despite being locked up on false charges, he remained courageous and unshaken by the political machinations of those who feared him. His struggle continues to resonate with those who believe in justice, fairness, and the hope for a brighter future for Pakistan. In stark contrast, Nawaz Sharif's exit from Pakistan under the guise of seeking medical treatment, followed by his controversial return, exposed the deep flaws within Pakistan's legal system. His eventual return, facilitated by elements within the judiciary, not only sparked public outrage, but underscored how the powerful can manipulate the law to their advantage, evading justice while ordinary citizens suffer under a system designed to protect the elite. The return of Nawaz Sharif cast a spotlight on the glaring issues within Pakistan's judiciary, a system where justice can be bought, where the powerful are shielded from accountability, and where leaders like Imran Khan, who dare to challenge the status quo, are targeted, imprisoned, and vilified. The removal of Imran Khan from office marked a dark chapter in Pakistan's political history, not only for its immediate impact on governance, but for the unprecedented crackdown on political opposition that followed. This crackdown, spearheaded by the military establishment and supported by the civilian elite, sought to dismantle PTI through a multifaceted campaign of repression, intimidation, and violence. PTI supporters, known for their unwavering loyalty to Khan, faced severe repression during protests. The military and police used excessive force, including rubber bullets, tear gas, and even live ammunition, to disperse crowds and suppress dissent. The brutality of these actions sent a clear message. Anyone who dared to challenge the status quo would face harsh consequences. The government's imposition of Section 144 in major cities effectively banned public gatherings and protests, stifling PTI's ability to mobilize its supporters. This legal provision was not just a formality. It was strategically weaponized to arrest PTI leaders and supporters on dubious charges, severely weakening the party's organizational capacity and hindering its ability to mount a significant political challenge. The measure was a clear attempt to paralyze PTI's ability to operate effectively, creating an environment where dissent was equated with criminal behavior. The crackdown was not confined to physical repression. The independent media, once seen as a crucial pillar of democracy, was systematically silenced. News channels were either shut down or heavily pressured to avoid covering PTI activities. This blackout extended to social media platforms, where accounts that voiced support for PTI were suspended or restricted. These tactics were part of a larger propaganda campaign designed to paint PTI as violent and unruly, justifying the harsh measures taken against them. This narrative of PTI being a threat allowed the government to maintain a facade of law and order while clamping down on democratic freedoms. In a calculated move to further undermine PTI, the judiciary was also weaponized. This resulted in a barrage of legal cases being filed against its leaders and supporters, many of whom were charged with sedition and terrorism. The May 9th events, widely believed to be a staged or false flag operation, provided the pretext for this legal assault. Protests that allegedly led to attacks on military installations were swiftly exploited, and PTI workers were prosecuted in military courts, effectively bypassing the civilian judicial system. This unprecedented move not only imposed harsh sentences with alarming speed, but also raised concerns about transparency, particularly as military state agencies refused to share crucial CCTV footage in both the Supreme Court and High Court. The reluctance to provide this evidence deepened suspicions about the true nature of the May 9th events. The systematic crackdown against PTI did not stop at repression and legal warfare. It extended deeply into the electoral process itself. Both the military and civilian elite were actively engaged in deliberate efforts to disrupt PTI's campaign. The involvement of the judiciary, particularly through actions taken by the Supreme Court Justice Qazi Faiz Issa, was a critical element in this strategy. One of the most glaring instances of judicial overreach was the controversial decision to strip PTI of its party sign, a symbol that had become deeply associated with PTI's identity and widely recognized by its supporters. This unprecedented move, justified under the pretext of alleged procedural violations, was perceived by many as politically motivated, aimed at diminishing PTI's electoral appeal and confusing voters. The removal of the party sign had tangible impacts on the ground. In rural areas, where literacy rates are lower, PTI supporters found it difficult to identify the party's candidates on the ballot, further skewing the election results in favor of its rivals. This manipulation of the electoral process did not end with the judiciary. On the ground, the military and civilian elite worked hand in hand to sabotage PTI's campaign. Roadblocks were strategically placed to prevent PTI's rallies from reaching key areas, and raids on PTI offices and the homes of supporters became common tactics. These actions created an atmosphere of intimidation, where even attending a PTI rally or openly supporting the party could result in severe repercussions. Election day itself was marked by widespread reports of fraud and voter suppression. In numerous constituencies, PTI polling agents were forcibly removed from polling stations, leaving the voting process vulnerable to manipulation. Accounts of fake votes being cast, often under the watchful eye of military personnel who were ostensibly present to ensure order, surfaced, with many alleging that these forces were actively facilitating the fraud. Voter intimidation was rampant, with PTI supporters facing threats and coercion, discouraging them from casting their votes. In some areas, ballots were reportedly tampered with, and the counting process was marred by irregularities, further eroding the credibility of the election. These tactics ensured that the election results were not a true reflection of the will of the people, but rather a product of orchestrated manipulation designed to favor PTI's rivals. PTI leaders and supporters were also subjected to an extensive surveillance campaign, where their movements, communications, and even private gatherings were closely monitored by state agencies. This relentless scrutiny formed part of a broader strategy of psychological warfare designed to break the resolve of the party's leadership and its followers. PTI leaders and activists were arrested without any concrete evidence, relying instead on vague charges and unsubstantiated claims. These arbitrary detentions, often without formal charges or due process, further intensified the atmosphere of fear and repression. The arrests were not limited to the top leadership. Grassroots workers and ordinary citizens who showed any form of support for PTI were also targeted. This campaign of intimidation and harassment aimed to decimate the party's organizational structure and stifle any form of dissent, creating an environment where fear was pervasive. The international response to these actions was overwhelmingly critical. Human rights organizations, foreign governments, and global media outlets condemned the conduct surrounding the 2024 elections and the subsequent crackdown on PTI. The widespread irregularities, lack of transparency, and draconian measures taken against political opponents, including baseless arrests, were highlighted as severe violations of democratic norms and human rights. This international outcry further delegitimized the government, isolating it on the global stage and making it increasingly difficult for it to gain recognition or support from the international community. Despite being imprisoned and facing relentless persecution, Imran Khan emerged from these events as a symbol of hope, justice, and the struggle against corruption. His narrative transcended the immediate political battle, representing a broader movement for a fair and prosperous Pakistan. Khan's resilience in the face of overwhelming odds inspired millions, solidifying his legacy as a transformative leader who, even in the darkest times, remained committed to his vision of a new Pakistan. PTI's refusal to accept the fraudulent election results and its continued demands for new, transparent elections resonated deeply with a large segment of the Pakistani population. This resistance highlighted the deep divisions within the country and exposed the fragile nature of the current government's power. Despite the immense challenges, Imran Khan and PTI remained a potent political force, advocating for the rights of the people and challenging the corrupt system that sought to silence them. Imran Khan's tenure as prime minister, though marked by significant challenges, remains a testament to his transformative vision for Pakistan. His government's achievements, coupled with his steadfast commitment to justice and accountability, ensured that his impact would be felt for generations to come. Khan's legacy is not just one of political leadership, but of a broader movement that sought to redefine the very fabric of Pakistani society, making him a true symbol of hope and change in a country long plagued by corruption and injustice.